A very good morning. Today we are going to learn about unit and dimensions. So first of all, what is physics? Physics is the phenomena of understanding nature and natural phenomena that are happening around us. So we can write here um, nature and natural phenomena surrounding us. कौन कौन से फिनोमेना है जो आप अपने सराउंडिंग में ऑब्जर्व करते हैं लाइक फ्री फॉल ऑफ एनी पार्टिकल एंड मूवमेंट ऑफ स्टार्स our galaxy moon is revolving around our sun stars are moving, so these all are the phenomena which are associated with which are named as natural phenomena, and physics is the study of all these natural phenomena around us. So now the term comes physical quantity. What are physical quantities? Physical quantities, or we can write here like PQ. Physical quantities are the quantities, obviously these are quantities that is have any quantitative value. So physical quantities are the quantities that can be measured. We can have measurement for them that can be measured, and also these are associated with physical, that means that should explain physics and the law of physics. So we can write here physical quantities are the quantities that can be measured. Obviously it is a quantity should always be measured, and it can explain law of physics. Whatever we see around us, that should be explained by these quantities. So these are called physical quantities. Now, how many types of physical quantities we have? Can anyone give some examples for this? Physical quantities, for example, कौन कौन सी होती है physical quantity? Basic, fundamental. Mass, you always told about this is anything what you buy is how much kg. Length, you always give the measurement of length, it is 3 meter length or 3 kilometer distance. Time, force, torque. So these all are called physical quantities because these these terminology explains the measurement of the some phenomena that are applied that explains law of physics. Now, types of physical quantities. Types of physical quantities. How many types of physical quantities are present over here? So physical quantities basically are of two types. One is fundamental quantities. Second one is derived quantities. या derived units भी कह सकते हैं हम. And the third one is supplementary. Supplementary quantities, units or quantities. So let's see one by one. First of all, one is fundamental quantities. So what are fundamental quantities? As its name suggests, fundamental, that is, these cannot be derived from any other quantities. Also, these are independent to each other. That is, we can see fundamental units are the units that are independent to each other and cannot be explained in terms of any other quantity. Also, all other quantities can be derived from this. Let's write here. So, these quantities are independent to each other. All other quantities can be derived or explained using these quantities. That is, these quantities are independent, किसी और पे independent नहीं है, ये अपने आप पे self dependent है. हर quantity खुद को ही represent करती है. Second thing, all other quantities can be derived or explained using these quantities. दूसरी, इन इंडिपेंडेंट फंडामेंटल क्वांटिटीज से अगर आप और कुछ क्वांटिटीज मेजर कर रहे हैं तो वो इनकी टर्म्स में आप एक्सप्लेन कर सकते हैं. सम बेसिकली दीज आर 7 in number according to SI. Also, the units, we are saying these are measurable. We can measure the quantity. So these quantities are independent to each other, and these quantities can other quantities can be derived using these quantities. The unit in which these quantities are expressed are named as fundamental quantities. The units used to measure these quantities, these fundamental quantities, are termed as fundamental units. For example, length. पता है सबको किसमें मेजर करते हैं लेंथ को हम? इन मीटर, किलोमीटर, सेंटीमीटर, millimeter, and so on. What is, in what terms mass is measured? Grams, kilograms, decigrams. Time, seconds, hour, minutes, force, Newton, dyne, etc. So these are called its quantities. Let's make a chart for these quantities. Just a second. SI, fundamental quantities. One thing, this force is a derived unit, so we cannot write it here. We will, here we was talking about the unit, so let's remove it. This is not the case right now. Fine. Okay. So let's list the fundamental quantities. Make a chart. These are fundamental quantities. Their units, symbols used. First is length. क्या होती है लेंथ? किस में मेजर हम करते हैं? मीटर में. किससे शो करते हैं? एम से. फाइन. नेक्स्ट, मास. किस, क्या होती है इसकी यूनिट? किलोग्राम. किससे रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं? केजी से. टाइम, क्या यूनिट होती है इसकी? सेकेंड. मेजर किससे करते हैं? सेकेंड. इलेक्ट्रिक करंट, व्हाट इज द यूनिट ऑफ इलेक्ट्रिक करंट? एम्पियर. सिंबल यूज होता है समटाइम्स आई, समटाइम्स ए. आई फॉर करंट, ए फॉर एम्पियर. नेक्स्ट यूनिट इज luminous intensity. What is the light's intensity? Candela, shown by CD. Next one is 1, 2. Let's numbering them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. What is sixth unit? Sixth unit is substance, measurement of substance. Yeah, that is 1 mole. Represent करते हैं MOLC. And the last one is temperature. This is measurement of substance. Temperature, Kelvin. और शो करते हैं either theta or K. So these are 7 fundamental quantities approved by SC that are taken as international rating. Next, second comes as derived units of physical quantities. As we have discussed right now, derived units are the units which can be derived from the fundamental quantities by taking some powers, by raising some powers on the fundamental units. That is, all other quantities rather than fundamental physical quantity are called derived quantities, and the unit used to explain these derived quantities are called derived units. Note, the derived units are written, the derived units are written by raising some powers to the fundamental units. For example, take some examples. First one, take area. What is area? Area is length into breadth. Suppose this is a rectangular shape. This is its length. This is breadth. Then the area will be L into B. But actually, what is breadth? Breadth is already in length. And we just read that the unit of length is meter. Meter. That is meter square, or we can write m square. So we can see that area is a derived quantity whose dimension, whose unit can be calculated by squaring or raising 2 power to the fundamental unit length. Similarly, C, volume. What is volume? Length, breadth, and height. Fine. Suppose we have taken a cube. Fine. This is its length, breadth, I think breadth, and this one is height. So again, what is length? Measured in meter. Breadth is also a distance, length. It is again explained in meter, and height is further explained in meter. That is, the derived unit for volume is m cube. Let's see some more examples like velocity. What is velocity? Velocity is distance. Yeah, we will read these in further upon time. And what is the unit used for measuring distance? Obviously, it is meter, and time is measured in second. So velocity can be explained in meter per second. Next, we can take acceleration. Take some other pen. Acceleration is velocity upon time. That is, right now we have calculated meter per second upon second. That is meter per second square. Further, take some more examples like force. We have read force is, we know, we will read in further chapters. Force is mass into acceleration. In what unit mass is measured? Kilogram. And what is the unit of acceleration? Just now we calculated here. Mass per second square. Sorry, meter per second square. So it is written as meter per second square. That is kilogram meter per second square. Next, work. How can we calculate work? Work is force into डिस्प्लेसमेंट. ये सब आप आगे फर्दर चैप्टर्स में रीड करेंगे तो आपको ज्यादा क्लियर हो जाएंगे. व्हाट इज फोर्स? राइट नाउ वी हैव कैलकुलेटेड इट्स यूनिट्स. किलोग्राम मीटर पर सेकेंड स्क्वायर. multiply distance, that is meter, or we can write kilogram meter per second square into meter. That is, I know, I hope everybody is getting what I am explaining. So this. Further, we will further read here. The SI unit for force is, it can be written as 1 Newton. And this unit can be written as 1 Joule. Next one is, suppose energy. What is kinetic energy? Half mv square. We are having quantities here, mass and velocity. These are quantities. It's just a number. Number has no unit. So it will have mass into velocity square. What is unit of mass? Kilogram. What is unit of velocity? Meter per second square. That is kilogram meter square per second square. What we see here, that unit of energy is equal to unit of work. That is, work is converted into energy and energy is converted into work. This is called one energy theorem. We will prove it by some further definitions and derivation. So what we have teach here till now, that what is physics, the natural phenomena around that are happening around us, and the explanations we require to them, that is included in physics. What are physical quantities? The quantities that are used to measure the law of physics, and that are used to explain the law of physics, and also can be measured using any apparatus. These are called mass, length, time, torque, force, uh, momentum, etc. What are the types of physical quantity? Fundamental quantities, derived, and supplementary. What are fundamental quantities? That are independent to each other, that is, none of them can be explained in terms of any other fundamental quantities. Secondly, all other quantities rather than fundamental quantity can be derived from using these. Basically, according to SI system, these are 7 in numbers, which are explained here as length, mass, time, electric current, luminous intensity, substance, measurement, and temperature. And these units are meter, kilogram, second, ampere, candela, mole, kelvins, and their symbols are these. Further, and just a second. Now, next come to the derived units. So,